Shawnee Bravo at United MMA again. Today we're going to talk about gis. You're going to train jiu-jitsu, probably need a gi. We're going to talk about lots of stuff. First off, you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do with this gi? Is it your only gi? Is it going to be a catch-all, or are you going to have this for a specific purpose? Is it just for everyday training, or maybe it's for competition? For me, I got a closet full, and I have different ones for different reasons. First question you got to ask yourself, what color do you like? I like light blue, classic, traditional, that's the way to go. Patrick wears black sometimes. He'll let me wear black because I'm a black belt. I don't have one yet, but I'm warming up to it. I don't really like camouflage and red and all these weird colors, so please don't come in something really strange unless you talk to Patrick first. White and blue is what we're looking for. So pick a color. We're going to talk, the next video will be about how to take care of your gi, and that's important to make it last as long as you can. So if I want an everyday training gi, which is what this one is, it's pretty lightweight. This is a 420 gram, I believe, which is fairly light. Any lighter than that for me, I don't feel like they're going to last. They feel a little too light, like they're going to tear. It's got a pretty thin collar. It's a rubber collar, which is not real thick, which is comfortable. It's got no seam down the back. They call that Satsuki stitching, a little big stitch down the back, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is just a comfortable, lightweight gi for everyday training. If I wanted a gi to compete in, I would be looking for something else. I want a big, thick collar. They use felt. A felt collar, it's going to be thicker, it's going to be bigger this way, it's going to be harder for your opponent to grab. If his hands are tired, maybe you'll get away with getting out of that choke because he tires out at the end. It's not quite as comfortable. Satsuki stitching is a big stitch down the back. That's harder when your opponent grabs over your collar and just grabs the back of your gi. It's harder to grip because you got a big seam there. Not as comfortable, but it's practical for competition. Competition gis, they have to fit a certain way. If you're going to compete in federation tournaments, there's a certain rule on where it fits on your arms, your sleeves. You really need to be able to get all 4 fingers in it. If it's too tight, too far up like this, you're not going to pass. The gi Nazi is going to get you before you get on the mat and make you change your gi. There's rules on how thick the collar can be, but just about everything these days is legal, competition legal. The weave, if you are on the borderline of making weight or not, you may want a lighter weight gi to compete in. I like a little thicker gi to compete if I'm at weight because I just feel like it's sturdy. I started off wearing double weave gis that are super thick when I was a little kid, and you put them on, you feel like you can take a bullet in that thing. And it took me a while to warm up the lighter gis, but now that I have, I really like them. But to compete, if I'm making weight, I like a little thicker. So you just need to figure out exactly what you're going to do with the gi. I noticed that the big trend now, I like pretty simple gis, but they have lots of patches and flash on some of these newer style gis. And that's all well and good. This is embroidered. You can see that's not a patch, that's embroidered into the fabric, and everybody seems to love that, which is cool. And a few years back, they would just take a piece of cloth and they would silk screen on it, put it on there, and sew it on. Not as cool looking, but in all honesty, I like that better for a couple reasons. Number one, I can take it off easy if I don't like it. Number two, I can take it off and put it on another gi if I do like it, or whatever. But it's just gone, and I don't have a problem. I can't take this off, so I'm stuck with whatever logos are on there. But the other thing that I don't really care for about the embroidered stuff is it makes a weak spot. When you grab somebody's sleeve and you pull, the fabric stretches and it gives, but once it gets to this point right here, this is not given. So this will never tear, but right under it, that's where it's going to tear. So my favorite gis, that's where they all went, was right here. And now they have big embroiders here, and they'll tear. And I'm not saying they're going to just fall apart quick, but it does make a weak spot where the strong parts are. Contrast stitching is popular now with a different color. Doesn't really matter, but in all honesty, if you have contrast stitching, it's got to be straight. So a lot of the ones with the contrast stitching are nicer, higher quality gis because you don't want all this crazy looking colored zigzag stuff, which is nice. So you know you're getting something decent. Price, that's a big factor too. How much are you willing to spend? Decent gi is going to cost you roughly $100, and you can spend up to $300 on some of these gis. I'm not going to, but some do. Lining, some of them have linings in them. Patrick likes us to wear rash guards here, so I don't really want a liner and a rash guard. It's just going to make it hotter for me. but you don't get to wear rash guards at the Federation tournaments. So if you make weight, you may want a lucky gi or something with the liner. It makes you feel really nice. But that's all I got. Just think about what you're after. What's this gi for? How does it fit? I am actually 5'8", about 155 right now, so I wear an A2 in some brands and an A1 in other brands, so you need to make sure you know the sizes. And then we're going to talk about taking care of your gi later, how to shrink it, make it fit tight or not, or however you want to take care of it. That's all I got now. I'll see you soon for part 2.